Hello, welcome to Morning Tea with MTC. My name is Tahlee Fereday, and today I'll be answering questions sent in by teachers and students. In rehearsal, I like to document my work. I like to write a lot of notes, even if I cannot read them the next day, which usually happens. And I think that I use my body a lot, and my muscle memory is probably the best form of memory. And so I think it's really hard for me to remember the blocking the most. Like, I always get so disorientated. So the next day I would like to, in my warm up, just like track through. So like just mark out on the floor what the movements we did the previous day is. And that is really helpful, because if you look at a scene, say Monday, and then you don't look at it again till Friday, and you're trying to read your notes, it's quite difficult because you're like, there's so much that has happened since then. So just going through the blocking every day in your body, in your warm-up, is probably my number one bit of advice. It's so helpful because blocking always changes, and you think you got it and they're like, let's try this. And you're like, but I just spent 20 minutes learning how to do that other one. But yeah, it's definitely get active and get in your body, because it will remember more than you think it will. I like to unpack my character from the script to learn a bit more about what world they're in, like what is the year, if I'm a female, like what is happening with that at that point, and also like what society sees of that person. For example, one of the last plays I was in, it was called Love, and I was playing a character called Tanya, and the society would have seen her as like a drug addict, as a lowlife, all those kind of words, and that really informs how I unpack the character. So really just researching the world that they are and starting from that and then honing it in on the individual is really helpful for me. How do I know what's the right choice in rehearsal? I don't. I really don't. I think that it's good to not think of having the right answer, because then you get quite fixed, and then it gets quite stagnant quite fast if you're thinking this is right and that's wrong. Usually the director will tell you if they're liking what you're doing, or you're on the right track, or that's gold, or dispose of that, which is really helpful. But sometimes you might not know until you have an audience, and they will let you know. If you think something is so fun and you're like, oh my God, the audience is going to love this, and then you get to the theatre and no one's laughing, or it's just you think it's funny, then the audience will let you know that that's maybe not the best choice. If you're making a move or making a new offer and it gets something really good out of your scene partner, that's a really good indication that you're doing something right, because they're doing fresh work, which then acting is reacting. So you're going to react to that new offer that they've made. When I'm creating my character, I love to use my body. I'm definitely what we call at VCA an outside-in kind of character. So I think about what their movement is, how they walk, what their rhythm is, what their pace is. So maybe their footsteps are quite heavy and slow, and where their center is. We have this theory called Laban theory. So if they talk really quick and they like quite fidgety like that, to get myself out of my own rhythm is really, really helpful. I'm quite like sloppy and like lanky in my own physicality, and if the character is different to that is very helpful, because I'm like, now I'm the character and now I'm back to being Tahlee. So finding what their body is really, really helpful for me. I guess I fell into acting because I just love showing off. I tried stand-up comedy when I was living in Darwin, and I liked it, but I think I like acting alongside people and not just being like, there's me as an individual and I'm going to make the audience laugh. I think I really thrive in working in an environment with other creatives. So I went to VCA in 2015 and I graduated 2017. I think from the audition, I figured out quite quickly that acting was exactly what I wanted to do, because the audition was quite like a masterclass. So you really got like half a day of a masterclass of what it would be like if you were at the school. And yeah, I just really, really enjoyed my experience. I definitely think the hardest thing about being an actor is the rejection. A lot of people say that actors are really good at dating because we're really great at taking rejection. I beg to differ, but I think the rejection can get quite hard, but you have to think about, in the end, like, don't take it too personal. It's about what serves the work, and maybe you're just not the right person. You might not have the right eye color because they've already got the parents that are matched together. So many things are out of your control. I would reckon that rejection is quite hard. But when you do land something, you know that just how hard it was to get that. So it's also just as rewarding as well. I think one change that you can make now if you're wanting to get into the industry is learn about the industry and definitely support the industry. So what I mean by that is watch Australian content, watch Australian plays. If you're living rural or remote, research the companies that you want to be working with. Getting comfortable with being outside of your comfort zone is definitely a great start. And just being stimulated by the industry, reading plays, reading books, like Googling your favorite actors, seeing what they're up to, where they studied, and what short courses are around where you're living. I really, really want people to be watching Australian content. My pre-show warm-up is different every time. It depends on what the show is. For example, I was doing Astroman with Melbourne Theatre Company, and that was a very physical show. We had 5 breakdancing routines in there. So that was a very physical pre-show warm-up. But then again, we were also playing Uno for 20 minutes before every show. So something that brings us all together, where another character I was playing, her voice was a lot lower than mine was. So the pre-show warm-up definitely included a lot more vocal work. But whatever it is exactly the same thing before every show. Like, I'm a stickler for the ritual. So then I know that, like, I go on stage and there's nothing else that I could have done differently because, like, I have done the ritual. And, like, I love to make up a secret handshake. Like, when I was doing Blackie Blackie Brown with Malthouse Theatre, like, Ash Flanders and I had a secret handshake, and one night we didn't do it, and it was, like, the worst show. Like, so many things didn't happen, and I was like, it's because I didn't do my ritual. So I'm very superstitious like that. I definitely do get nervous on stage, but once I think it's once I hear the audience laugh, then I'm like, okay, yes, we're in it. And I do play a lot of comedy, so that's really helpful. Something my grandma told me when I was quite young is that your body has the same feeling when you're excited to when you're nervous. So you can just tell your body that you're actually really excited. And within a few minutes, you'll just be like so excited to be there. I definitely think some characters, their identities are harder to play. For me, I think Shakespeare is really hard for me to connect with, or anything that is like over 50 years old, because I struggle with the values and I struggle in the world that they're living in. And I really struggle being a female, not having my own autonomy. That is a character that I find really, really hard to play with. But I just have to think about why this character is like that and what their values are. And I hopefully can crack it, but it does definitely take me a while in olden date texts. I find that I have a really bad habit of judging the character. I'm like, this is so stupid. Why don't you just like run away and do what you want? And it's like, then you're acting in a way that you're judging the character. You're not embodying the character. So I definitely find it really hard to play those characters, but it's also enjoyable because I'm up for a challenge. Yes, I always get stuck in rehearsal. There's always like 1 week or like one day that I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. And I feel like every actor has that in rehearsal. You're like, I should have been a doctor. Not like I could be a doctor. I should have done something. But I think to break out of it, the director will help you, but also just doing something that's so silly that might not even live in the world of the play. Like, just come on and like rap it, or like do a dance routine, or like try and do the whole speech in 30 seconds. Or if you can speak another language, do it in a different language, just to break you out of that rhythm. And then like once that's done, then you can make new discoveries. And it's the same thing that I was saying before. You might like find something else that your scene partner is doing, and that might trigger you into do something new, because acting is reacting. So if your scene partner throws something new at you, you're going to react new as well. My favourite teacher at my high school, Larrakia Catholic College, was definitely Miss Chapman. She was my drama teacher, and I actually don't think I would have studied drama if it wasn't because of her. She had a meeting with my mum when I was grade 12 and said that Tahlee should really consider studying acting. And for me, that was actually a real turning point, because, you know, I grew up in Darwin for my whole life, and I just thought that acting was like, it was really not achievable. But having like a professional tell me that I really should be considering this path. Yeah, so sorry all the other teachers, but Miss Chapman would have to win the crown. I think the most significant moment in high school drama was when that teacher I was just talking about, Miss Chapman, she cast me in the lead of the play, Daisy Meredith, and I really didn't want it because I didn't have the confidence thinking that I would be doing the lead of this play that went for like 2.5 hours, classic high school drama. And I just remember thinking like all the other girls wanted it, and I was like, I just felt so weird because I didn't want it, and I was like, I could give it to you, but that was like, I think that was a real turning point because the teacher really believed in me and was like, no, you can do this. And the confidence that I got from that high school production definitely gave me the confidence to audition for drama schools. And yeah, I'm really, really grateful for that experience. I think my most proud moment from my acting career to date would be going to the Venice Biennale, which is a Venice festival that they have over there. And the play that I took over there was called Love, and it was actually the first Australian theatre work to be over there. And I took it over there with such a great, incredible team, Susie Dee and Patricia Cornelius. They're two powerhouse females that have really contributed so much to the Melbourne theatre industry. And I think that I'm really grateful to be part of that. That was a really, really, really great moment. I think in 5 years' time, I see myself working ABC comedy would be like my goal. Also, kind of like a show on SBS Demand. As much as I love theatre, I really want to challenge myself because I'm yet to work in screen, and I think it would be a really rewarding experience. Also, I hope that in five years that we have more like minority voices represented on the main stage and the mainstream media, and that's what I'm really looking forward to in the future. I am watching a lot of Netflix, a lot of Stan, a lot of Foxtel Now, a lot of ABC, but a lot of Australian content, as I was saying before. And I think I'm keeping myself more physically fit than I am creatively, which is okay as well. Spending a lot of time thinking about my next project, which is actually Slap Bang Kiss with Melbourne Theatre Company, and just learning about teenagers and what they stand for and like their role models and what's going on in the world at the moment. Thank you so much for your questions. I had such a good time. Check out the next Morning Tea with MTC on the website, mtc.com.au/morningtea.